Alright, esteemed members of the Linus Tech Tips Forum community, I'm bringing you a quick member review on the Lenovo ThinkServer TS140. Now, most of you probably don't know about this product. It recently entered the market a few months ago. Lenovo markets this as their entry-level, truly enterprise-class server, and I can tell you right now that's absolutely false. However, I wouldn't have bought it if I thought it was the first enterprise server, considering the price, which we'll get to later. I bought it because it, to me, represented an excellent value proposition, and I'm going to explain why that is based on these specifications. So, they market it as a revuiew enterprise server. You're looking at it right now through the camera. There are no ways to mount this in a rack. So frankly, I don't know why they market it as a revuiew server. It might have the dimensions, it doesn't have the use. It's an MATX tower server, okay? Not revuiew. Interestingly, for a little bit more money, there is a TS140 with the same specs in a 2U rack mount. So if you needed that, you certainly could get it, which I credit them for. So, it is not an enterprise server, it is for small business or home office. And based on the price, we'll find that out very soon. So, enough beating around the bush. The price, $200 US, or about $400 is what I bought it for as I live in Canada. That's an incredible price. It has the base model, which is the one I have, has an i3-4130, which alone is about $100. So, considering this is a fully built computer, mind you, it does not include a hard drive, the base model, for $200 American is incredible. So, this specific model, what are the specifications? As I said, it's a Core i3-4130 at 3.4 GHz. It is an MATX tower case. It is relatively small. I have nothing to compare it to for size. That's my hand. So, take of that what you will. It has 4 gigs of ECC unbuffered RAM, the base model, no hard drive, and I'll talk about the internal specifications once we open it up and have a look. So, firstly, the exterior. It's the pretty classic IBM/Lenovo design. They don't change their design. IBM hasn't really changed their ThinkPad design really since, besides making them thinner, since ever. And their desktops really haven't changed either. It's very classic. Again, it's a server. Does the appearance really matter? You can decide that for yourself. Personally, I don't care. But I think it looks nice. It's very professional. It's quite bland, but there's at least some design. It's very asymmetric, which is usually characteristic of IBM Lenovo computers. I like it. It's subjective. So, on the front, 5¼ inch DVD reader, CD reader drive. The online photos, when I ordered it, showed it had a slimline laptop DVD drive. When I got it, I found out it did not. It had a standard 5¼ desktop drive. And a slightly different 5¼ filler. It was a more meshed one as opposed to flat plastic. Again, I don't care. It's irrelevant. But just so you know, if you order one of these, it might not have a slimline optical drive. It might. I don't know. Could depend on the region. Energy certified sticker, Energy Star. I'll explain that again when we're inside, how good the power consumption actually is. On the front, 2 USB 3.0 connectors, power, no reset button, 3.5 inch bay that can fit a hard drive, or you could put something in there, 5¼ inch bay above that you could also mount something if you desired. So, before we look inside, I'll mention just some other quick things. Your first question might be, can I use this as a workstation? Potentially. 2 key issues. You cannot put this machine to sleep. That's just disabled by the BIOS. Again, it's a server. It's either on or it's not. You're not putting a server to sleep. Although it certainly can turn off your display and so forth, but it cannot go to sleep. 2. The drivers. Personally, I don't know. I have Windows Server 2008 R2 installed. The drivers obviously are fine for that. Pretty much all Windows Server 2012, I don't know if there's R2 of that yet, but anyways. All the server OSs have drivers. I don't know if Windows 7 or 8 have drivers for this machine. Certainly Windows Server does. Could you use this as a FreeNAS box? Sure. I think that'd be pretty ideal. Yeah, I think that's it for that. So what we're going to do now, I will cut to another take. As you can tell, this isn't exactly the most professional YouTube video because I've never actually made one. I have no desire to, but I thought I'd give you guys a quick look instead of just writing a horribly long TLDR post that no one's going to read. Might as well make a video. So, we'll jump to the interior and we'll talk about it a little bit more. Alright, we are now inside the Lenovo TS140. So this is the side panel. It's upside down. That's cool. Pretty standard. Like most servers, it has a maintenance slash general information diagram on the side panel. Honestly, they should put this on all pre-built computers. I don't know why they don't. This is usually really helpful info. How to mount the CPU, where everything is on the motherboard. The rear I/O layout, which I can't show you. I don't really want to move this server, but you'll have to take my word. 4 USB 3, 2 USB 2, serial, dual display port, which is weird. Dual display port, I guess you could use this for electronic signage as well as run your email server. I'm not sure about that. That's sort of a weird thing. No HDMI out on my model. Some of them may have it. It certainly has the cutout. Mine doesn't. Serial and VGA, as well as audio, basic 3 mic, speaker, and the other one, which I forget. And 1 Intel NIC. It's a good NIC, but I'd prefer to see 2. But again, $200 US. Can't ask for that much, right? So enough of the side panel. Let's go inside. Alright. We're inside. What do we see? So, there is 2 fans, 1 rear, 1 front, server grade fans. They both have protection grates on them, so if you're, there's nothing hot swap in this, but again, it's a nice touch because they expect if you're going to be inspecting it or something, and you have to have it running, you're not going to hit your hands on or get your hands caught in the fan. There we go. So, fans are also silent. I have no issues with that. Okay, so drive mounting. 1 3.5 inch there, 1 there, 1 in this assembly, as well as you can convert the final 5.25 inch bay to a 3.5 inch bay. Pretty good. Again, no hot swap, $200. I don't expect it. Cable management. Pretty good, actually. Again, this isn't a pre-built PC where you're just going to explore. They really don't give a damn. It's as cheap as they can possibly do, and it's just going to be an absolute mess, rat's nest. And again, it's also on the other end of the spectrum. It's not an enthusiast PC that's been braided cables all nicely hidden behind the motherboard tray. This is a simple case for a server. Everything's nicely cable managed, so the fans have unrestricted airflow. And it's fine. The cables are all labeled. I have no issues with that. Again, it's designed so you can quickly replace the components if something fails, not having to worry, because if you actually have an enthusiast PC and you carefully cable manage it, which I have behind the motherboard tray, if something dies, it'll be a right pain in my ass to fix it. Power supply. Might as well talk about that. 285 watts. You can get an additional capacity of about 485 watts, I believe, is the other power supply you can get. Non-redundant, again, $200 US. I don't expect it. Can you get redundant, though? It's a good question. Lenovo isn't too forthcoming with how their models differentiate themselves. Potentially on the higher end, once we're going over $1,000 with the Xeon E3 1225, potentially you can get dual redundant PSUs. I know their upper models of this same series do, and they fit in the standard ATX area. They're just using a mount to hold dual redundant PSUs. As to whether TS140 can have it, I don't know. Now, RAM, 4 DIMMs, maximum 32 gigs of ECC unbuffered RAM. It does not support ECC buffered RAM. And it has limited RAM compatibility. You'd need to check their website to get that. I couldn't tell you. By default, the base model for $200 has 4 gigs of ECC unbuffered RAM. $200, again, that's pretty awesome. I'm quite impressed by that, actually. SATA ports. 4 SATA ports, supports RAID 0, 1, hardware. Does it support any other RAIDs? I couldn't tell you. It at a minimum supports 0 and 1. PCI layout, 2 PCI 3.0 X16 8 electrical slots, 2 of those PCI 1X, and a PCI slot. So pretty good I/O if you want to run a RAID card, Quadro, whatever. Pretty good. Now, conclusion then. So, $200, i3, 4 gigs, ECC RAM, good expandability. Are there any negatives? Yes, actually, yes there is. Non-standard PSU connectors. 4-pin auxiliary CPU power, good. 14-pin CPU main power connector, weird, very small. And an additional 2 4-pin accessory connectors, as Lenovo calls them. Not standard. I am told if you need another power supply, you can simply reuse those connectors as it's a standard pinout. I couldn't tell you. You could certainly ask Lenovo how exactly that works. And maybe it is another standard. I've never seen it. So, take that for what you will. So, conclusion. Now you know the negatives. Is this enterprise? No. Is this good value? Absolutely. For $200 US, that's unbeatable. It's a case, power supply, and by the way, the power supply, it's okay. It's a brand I've never heard of, but it's 80 plus. It has all the safety certifications, and if it has an 80 plus sticker, I trust that someone's actually tested. And Lenovo, again, they're putting this in a server, so this isn't some one hung low Shenzhen market thing. This will be an actual decent quality power supply. 285 watts, pretty good, and certainly not necessary. At idle, 35 watts, Jesus. 100% CPU load, only 65 watts on the wall, so very good power consumption, very quiet. So then, should you buy one? Well, I don't know. If you need a server, you should probably buy this. I've looked a lot because I need a server. I couldn't find anything cheaper than this, even used. Well, anything that's this good, of course. Are there any other downsides? i3 is a dual core. It has 2 hyper-threaded cores, so you can upgrade this. You can certainly order a different model with the Xeon E5 or E3 1225, I forget which is about $100 more. But if you really need that serious horsepower for more serious apps, then I'd suggest that. I'm not using it for that. i3 is just fine for me. So, thank you for watching the review. Do not like and subscribe for more videos like this. There will be no more videos like this unless I get a Maserati in the future, which is unlikely. I just wanted to get my thoughts out in a better manner than making a giant block of text on the forums. So, leave a comment, though, on the forum post, and if you have any questions, and I'll answer them as best I can. Thank you.